Evening, everyone. Thanks so much for coming out tonight to learn more about North Wasco County School District's strategic planning process. Tonight, we are going to talk about the strategic planning process. Thanks so much for coming out tonight to learn more.
My bad.
Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, let's get a little feedback over there. And then is the presentation going to come up here, Robbie? Okay, give it just a second. We'll start with introductions. I'm Dr. Bernal, I'm the superintendent here for North Wasco County School District.
I'm Jack. Hello. Oh, there we go. Hi, I'm Jack McLaughlin. I'm with Public Consulting Group.
And I am Stephanie Bowen. I'm the Director of Communications and Community Engagement with the district.
All right. Just give 1 second to get our presentation pulled up. So if you want to go to the next slide, Robbie. So tonight, during our agenda, we're going to be talking about the strategic plan initiative overview and what our goals are for the new strategic plan, what the timeline is, the phases of work, and who all is involved in this work. And then we'll talk about how we'll have multiple opportunities for all of our stakeholders, both internally and externally, to share and give input into the process. And then at the end, if there's any questions related to the strategic planning process, we'd be happy to answer those. So what are the goals of the new strategic plan? Well, really it becomes a guide for district decision-making and investments over the next 5 years. So think about the year 2027, 5 years from now. We want to think about the future of the students in our community and what is it that we want for our students in schools over the course of the next 5 years. And when we think about the year 2027, what do we envision North Wasco County School District to be once we get to that year? It also is to reflect stakeholders' hopes for the future of the North Wasco community. And again, it's to identify priority areas and opportunities for action and improvement in the district. Next slide, Robbie. I'm going to turn the time over to Jack, who's going to talk a little bit about the phases and the timeline of strategic planning.
Thank you, Dr. Bernal. As you mentioned, we're looking at 2027. Think about the portrait of our graduates. Think about our educators. Think about our schools and our community. What is that going to look like in 2027? And what we'll do is we'll align that thinking with all of the stakeholders in the community to figure out what that looks like and what kind of investments, as Dr. Bernal mentioned, that we need to be making. So you'll notice a lot of these phases will overlap. And the first phase, which we're in now, is going to be our getting together, our introductions, putting together our steering committee, and doing our initial planning. And that's happening as we speak. Started a couple of weeks ago and continues tonight with our first outreach to you in this community forum. Our second phase, or our third phase, excuse me, will be our community conversations and reviewing the data. You will all be getting an opportunity to participate in different focus groups, online anonymous surveys, different ways that you can look at the vision of the district in a lens of the core goals and strategic objectives of the district, and figure out how you can have your input and say and really listen, for us to listen and for you to provide your voice in what that looks like. Phase 4 is going to be the actual development of the strategic plan, again focusing in on all of the data, all of the input that we receive from you. And then finally, we get into our final phases of our strategic plan, where we really align our thinking and our goals to what it is we want our world to look like here in the Dalles in 2027. So we'll go to the next slide. And this slide mostly is just for you to see that most of these activities there are some overlap. They're happening concurrently. It's really going to ramp up with a lot of community input, one-on-one interviews, small groups of different focus groups around the community. So we're excited for that to happen. It's all happening in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, and there we go. And then, so who's involved in this work? Obviously, we all have this lens. We know our vision, we know our mission. So then we need to go out and collect that input from the community. So the stakeholders, obviously the superintendent's office and the leadership team, trying to figure out what our work is for the next 5 years. Then our community members, our volunteers, collecting data, as I mentioned, through surveys, through focus groups and interviews. Our steering committee is a really important group of folks who are selected as leadership and voices from the community who really will be meeting on a regular basis to drive this work and to monitor and assess the work, and then ultimately to report the work out as it becomes public. I'm with Public Consulting Group, as I mentioned. We've been working with schools doing planning for 35 years. We've done a lot of work along the Columbia Gorge in 5 districts now. And so we're super excited to meet your community to really facilitate this process. And that's what we're doing. We're here as facilitators and guides and trying to promote the kind of work that you're going to be doing over the next 5 months. Now, I think Stephanie's going to talk to you about the ways that we're going to reach out to the community, and Stephanie's going to really be an integral part in helping us collect that.
Yes, good evening. So I think the question on many people's mind is where they come into play. Where is your voice in the future of D21? And it's kind of crazy for me to think about 2027 seems so very, very far away, but it is really not. We're doing a couple of different opportunities for folks to share, as Jack mentioned. One of those slides. The first being is focus groups. So starting next Monday, which is March 7th, yes, we are in March already, running through the next week, we are going to be hosting a series of focus groups. Now, this is an opportunity for members of the community, staff members, stakeholders, community partners to engage and sign up if they're interested. Here shortly on the district website, we'll have a Google form for those interested to input their information so we can reach out and contact you guys about when those opportunities will be. Focus groups are going to be broken down into several different categories. We have teachers, of course, varying across the district in the elementary, middle, high school, different staff members, families. We do plan on facilitating at least one focus group in Spanish. Hold on, let me switch over here just a second. Is that better? Oh, that's so much better. Okay. And then students, which is also an integral part. We want to hear from our students where they see the future of D21. You know, we hope that either these students are going to be with us a long time, whether they're in middle school and this is going to be talking about their high school years, or graduating high school seniors that may be staying in the community and working and living here and wanting to take part in building our community and our schools. And last but not least, our community partners. So this could be agencies that we work with, this could be community leaders, this could be the public as a whole. Anyone and everyone is invited to give input. And again, there will be a Google form sign up here on the district site shortly. All right, and then another avenue for us to get input is a survey. Again, that'll be starting next Monday, March 7th, and we're going to keep that open for about a month. However, we do know that spring break is coming shortly, so we'll see how much feedback we get in this next month and maybe push it out another week just in case we need, if folks haven't gotten an opportunity to give feedback just yet. It's going to look pretty simple. It's going to be a 10 to 15 question survey. It's going to be administered solely online using a survey tool called Alchemer. And again, it's open to the community. We do plan on facilitating this both in English and Spanish. This will be rolled out via the district website, social media, and then sent to our families via our parent communication tool, Remind. Community forums. So tonight was our kickoff to talk about more of what strategic planning is, our intentions, the vision planning. We do plan on having another community forum later down the road in spring or summer 2022 to just give everyone an update of where we are in the process and let everyone know kind of where the plans are, what we see for the future, if we're wrapping things up. And like I said, that will be coming spring, summer, probably May or June. Last but not least, there is also a PCG, which is the public consulting group that Jack is with, managed email address. So this is another touch point for community members to give their input. It's confidential and it's only seen by their staff. And it's documented just as part of the current state of data collection. And that is going to be available on the website, that email address as well, for folks to contact PCG directly. And now I will turn it back over to Dr. Bernal and Jack to facilitate a little Q&A.
Thank you, Stephanie. Does anybody have any questions just about the process itself, opportunities for being able to share input, what our goals are for strategic planning? It's been a long time since North Wasco has done the strategic planning process. We've not kind of had a 5-year roadmap for a really long time. So I'm really excited to engage in this work. I'm really excited to engage all of our stakeholders and get their feedback on really what they envision for our schools for the next 5 years. So all of you who are here, I hope that you will share with anybody you know those opportunities to provide feedback, good or bad. We will take it all because we can only get better with the most information we get from all of our stakeholders. Do you want anything to add, Jack?
No, oops. No, nothing to add other than it's not often in a room with educators in a community with no questions. But it's great to see you and meet all you and look forward to the focus groups and the opportunity to, as Dr. Bernal said, we can't do this without everyone's input. And it's so critical. There's so many important things happening here in this, in this whole area. So look forward to working with you.
So lastly, I would just thank you all for those of you who came in person. I know there's probably like a State of the Union address going on right now, and maybe you want to be watching that, and it's raining outside, but we thank you for coming out anyways. And for those who are viewing online, thank you also for participating and watching online. We appreciate it. And everyone have a great evening.